So I kind of want to talk about a little bit of fashion design because like I had gotten a degree from fashion. I got a degree at Washington State University back in 2021, and my objective was to create just futuristic fashion, but it started to look costumish. And the reason for it looking costumish is because like I was choosing the wrong fabrics to choose to make my clothes with. And sorry that I'm like fumbling over my words and trying to like actually just speak right now, but this is just like off the cuff and I'm just thinking of this now. So when I'm thinking of like futuristic fashion, I'm thinking of like actual functional fabric and actual functional fashion in the first place, because I see a lot of fashion designers actually designing futuristic fashion wear, but it's to the point where it's like, what's the point of even making it in the first place if like the mass public won't have access to that? And what's the point of the fashion shows in the first place if there's only a select demographic that's actually purchasing the clothes, or like if the buyers are actually bringing that into the store? It's not very accessible. And if you are trying to make futuristic fashion and like have like upgrading and elevating the way that people are dressing like on Earth in itself, why is it that that is the case? And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because like I'm just like having, I guess like this is like an epiphany or something like that. But what I want to do is actually design clothes for like the next man of like human, the next being of man in that regard. Because, you know, with evolution, that has to happen in order for something else, for it to be something different. And how, if you think of language, like how did language originate and how did it become the way it is? Like something had to start in the first place in order for it to change. Because I feel like what I want to get at is that, like, when I want to design for the next being of man, I'm thinking of something that's actually functional, that's actually like simple, and something that's actually like wearable to wear. Now when I say that, I don't want it to be like a costume type of like look. And if you actually like take into consideration with futuristic movies on how they dress, that's futuristic fashion. But why is it always depicted in futuristic films? Like, why can't that be like an actual like thing in the IRL, like in today's world, like in real life, rather than just creating something that's fictional? Like, I'm coming at this from a different angle because like it's something that I've been thinking about recently. And I mean, when I was working at Hugo Boss in the Bellevue Mall, I was just taking note of like how people were dressing around, and I was intentionally dressing different, trying to introduce something new of how to dress differently. And I'm no longer working at Hugo Boss in the first place because it's a long story, and that's besides the point. But the way that I was dressing was just bringing something new and a youthful mindset of how to dress. Because I'm not sure if you are aware that Hugo and Boss are like literally, it's the same brand, but they split it for some reason, that Hugo is more for like the Gen Z, the younger generation, and Boss is for like the older millennial type of like crowd. And I'm not sure why they did that in the first place. But besides that, though, I was dressing Hugo, but in a Boss way, but more of an edgy or style to wearing clothes. And I mean, I had like a lot of like compliments of how I was dressing, but I don't want to talk about myself like that much anymore, but that's besides the point. But when I'm introducing like something new into like the ecosystem, because like I was treating that mall as like my testing ground, like my experiment of how I can like get in front of people's eyes without screaming attention. And the way that I was actually dressing was actually like, it was actually fun doing that experiment in the first place. So like if you were to go on, so I made a deep dive video on YouTube. This is gonna be on YouTube as well, but like I might like link the video, but it's the very first video on the page that I had created. So it's access granted in Viro. So that's doing a deep dive into myself and like the content creation like world that I'm entering. And I want you guys to like look at that video, because like it's a lot of like what I was mentioning about how I am creating my own universe in that regard. But okay, now I'm losing train of thought. Okay. Sorry, I'm just like actually I'm thinking and I'm speaking at the same time, so it's just like my English is not like coming out the way that I wanted it to. But anyways, but when I was doing a deep dive on myself, like I was actually introducing like a new way of dressing Boss, and I was trying to get Boss's attention in the first place. But unfortunately, like they never, they didn't contact me or anything like that. I was hoping that they would, but it's fine, whatever. But I mean, like I feel like the way that fashion is and how people are dressing in itself, everyone's dressing the same and everyone's looking the same. And I'm not sure if anyone else is like taking into consideration of that fact in the first place, because it is a fact that people are looking the same and dressing the same. And I'm wondering, like, with fashion in itself, because I'm looking at like the clothes on like the mannequins, and I'm looking at like, you know, different clothes like in Nordstrom, and I'm like, who's buying this stuff in the first place? It's a select demographic. And the way that the youth are dressing, there's a reason why they dress that way in the first place. It's more edgy, it's more youthful, it's more like, not rebellious, but it's more like you have personality with the way you dress. But as you get older, you lose that. And I'm wondering why you lose that, like that drive of dressing like in a unique type of way, but also dressing your age, but just dressing in a way that actually is suitable and that's different and unique. And I'm not dressing like that, like, because I'm entering like my 30s and I have like a few years to go. But I'm not saying that I'm holding on to my youth, but I'm just like dressing in a way that actually makes me feel more confident, that makes me stand out, and that makes me feel unique and be unique. Like, I want to become unique. I want to be different. I don't want to stand within the crowd. I want to be different. I want to like have my own lane that I'm carving out and being my own authentic self, because like that's what I see in myself, and I don't want to just blend in. I don't see that for myself. But this is just something that just really popped up in my head. I can't really think of anything else to talk about, but like I'm just questioning fashion in itself, of like, if the world is going to change, I mean, like, let's start with fashion. And I feel like with fashion, I mean, it's just so much of like a creative like realm and like an environment that is like so untapped that most people don't even think creatively. I can't even say the word. They don't think in a creative mindset. They want to just dress to blend in. And I'm not sure why it's like that as you get older. But I'm going to end this voice note real quick, because like I'm running out of things to talk about and I want to keep yapping. But Techie Cross out.